the heroes broke into the porcelain citadel, stole a porcelain walker, and fled the city in haste. And so when we see the characters, we have a shot on the solid wagon, which is drawn by two mules. And who would drive the wagon of the four of you?
I can drive it.
I was going to say you had been doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And smoking with Vigo the entire time.
Exactly.
Yeah. Vigo is sitting next to you. So I describe Vigo. He's a pale-looking fella with a shock of black hair. He has this huge eyes with coal around it. And he has chains around his body. And he's sitting there hunched over and rolling some kind of cigarette. And next to him, we see Copernicus. Fraser, can you describe how Copernicus looks like?
Sure. So Copernicus is in a I picture it kind of like a still suit from Dune, except it's much more gaudy looking, less practical, and his actual being is a gaseous form inside of the armor, so it's contained within it, and it's pretty it's humanoid, but then the faceplate is strange. It goes up in a V, and there's a red eye and stuff like that. I imagine that when Copernicus talks, it's through a filter mouth thing. And he's got a giant sword.
Giant golden sword.
Yeah, with an eye on it that might be painted on, but you'd have to touch it to know.
And nobody, ever tries. And then in the, I don't know, where would Nida be? Would you be in the back of the wagon, or would you walk behind the wagon?
I think at this point, I might actually be driving the porcelain walker.
Awesome. So next to or behind, I guess, the wagon, there is this machine. It's I want to say it's 10, 12 feet high above the ground, and the porcelain walker that we've seen before was one with a crystalline top, but this one is more. It's probably designed for some kind of guarding or even war. So it has a porcelain dome and the emblem of the porcelain city on the side. So how does Nida look like?
She's wrapped up in it looks like a robe, and you'd have to get much closer to it to realize that it's not just fabric. It's some kind of unusual metamaterial which is insulating and yet breathable. So if it's hot, it doesn't warm her up. If it's cold, it keeps her warm. It adapts and adjusts. It's the kind of garment that someone carries with them when they no longer know where their towel is and don't really care, because, well, it can work as a towel too. And otherwise, she's still more than a little traumatized from the broken line. And you can see in her eyes that she's a little dissociated.
And we see her through there's maybe just a more or less a slit that allows you to look outside. But next to you, there's also a cat, an unusual cat.
Yes, Ajax. He looks like a cat crossed with an ankylosaurus. He has a kind of bulb at the end of his tail, which is covered in darts and spikes, and it doesn't look very friendly. And it turns out that's actually loaded up with narcotics, and he can put you to sleep with it. But he's very grumpy sometimes. So,
and we see like the subtitles while Ajax is talking to you telepathically, and he says, "Come on, why can't we walk a little bit faster? This is so boring."
We have to stay with the caravan, Ajax. I know it's boring. Maybe we'll get some faster vehicles soon.
And he paws a little bit at one of the levers that accelerates the thing. Which brings us to Saffron, machine human. Chris, can you describe Saffron? Where is Saffron at the moment?
If the pace of the wagon and the porcelain walker is roughly walking speed, at least for now, Saffron would be just walking alongside, potentially kind of like wandering off a little bit and then coming back and kind of looking at stuff. Saffron is a machine human, kind of this, currently has no makeup on, and so their face is just this kind of nondescript silicone human shaped face with like no features particularly on it, because they cleaned it all off after leaving. And they're just wearing these kind of nondescript gray, brown, green robes. They have heavy boots on and are just walking through the dust.
And you do have a furry chitinous kite, I seem to remember.
That's on my back right now. So I have like, the way my packs are strapped on is I have like my pack, and then on top of it is no, Nida, I'm not you. I don't. Nida in chat just said heavy boots of lead. I'm like, no, this isn't your weird gun staff that destroys people's entire bodies. My boots are not messy. My boots are just ordinary but sturdy, like work boots, basically. Kind of weirdly unassuming, considering I'm a machine. But yeah, so my pack on my back, and then on top of it is this weird kind of like fuzzy, like kite thing with like this line of cord coming off of it that's like tied up to my pack. We haven't really seen it do much yet, but I think now that we're on the road, it will be come more in handy than in the city.
Yeah, I think that more than once, Lazaro, the tinkerer, looked at it as if to ponder what to do with it, what kind of feature it could give it, given some time, but he didn't. All right, and then which brings us to the fourth hero. Where would Azure be, Abe? Would she be in the walker or in the wagon or walking alongside Saffron?
I think probably just what's got the most room, the wagon. Yeah, I'll be in the back in the wagon, just trying to take it easy.
And so Vigo turns around and makes like a suggestive gesture with the joint that he just rolled, and cocks an eyebrow, like indicating you want in.
Yeah, definitely.
So he passes it to you, and Abe, can you describe Azure for us?
Can I what? Oh, well, let's see. It passes it. I take it. Take a deep inhale on it, and hang on to it for a few moments, and then exhale. Does it again.
So how does Azure look like?
Well, she is tall, and I guess winsome would be the word. She has to, in order to do this, she has to slide back her plastic face shield, or plasticine face shield, what have you. Let's see, she's tall, slim. She wears this kind of big plastic face shield and a blue hat. Around her neck, she's got this sort of future plastic necklace that ends in a big circle that she can hold on to. And she's got a blue plastic miniskirt, and then she's got a black kind of turtleneck and tights to keep the UV radiation at bay.
Mm-hmm.
And she's got some the blue plasticine shoes. They're just like ankle, like low top sneaker kind of, but with no laces. It's just a single piece.
Mm-hmm. And so, do your comrades know that you are a cultist?
No, they just know that I'm a witch.
Okay, all right. And I think while the joint is passed around, you're traveling through this the landscape around the porcelain citadel. It's still like black soil, cinder soil with shrubs growing, and it's in the night. During the night, after your escape from the porcelain citadel, and when you're far away from the porcelain citadel, the sun rises, and we see, not for the first time, the mauve glow that seems to emanate from the ground. It's this weird purple radiation that surrounds you, and that dissipates around some time during the morning. And so, as you might know, in the UVG, traveling is abstracted, and so what we do is we first roll for misfortune, and every week another character rolls. So I would say, Chris, could you roll for Saffron? And let's see, it's so 1 second. Every time we interact with the UVG tables, it's rolling high plus your modifier. Every time you do something, testing skill or something, it's rolling under. But now we're rolling high plus your charisma modifier.
Well, that's a -1.
Okay.
But we can make it work.
I have a question. I'm sorry to interrupt. I was gonna kind of do a vision check to see if I get any glimpses. Is before, in case we get some negative stuff coming up, if I could see, so I could perhaps foresee it, and then we might have an advantage against it.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. So I want to say, how does it look like when you look into the future?
Well, that's why I partook. I get into a meditative state and I have to relax, and then I kind of check out for 5 minutes or so, and then that's like, then I get into kind of a Zen state, and that's when I'm able to see in the future.
Cool. And so this is just part of your attunement. You're tuned to, I don't know, what is it? It's probably your cult.
Mm-hmm.
And you do have to put it on active. I think you started with the salamander active, but that's not a problem. And so what you see is you see something really, really, really strange, which is a gigantic beast. It must be, it's the size of a house block, and it grows limbs as it moves, and it parts of it wither, and others, grow. And it leaves behind like a weird trail of like a toxic liquid, and where it leaves the liquid, the vegetation starts to grow, but it grows limbs and it grows heads, and it's a pretty distressing sight. But it might also help you to prevent whatever misfortune your caravan befalls because of the misfortune. So what was the roll, Chris?
Let me quick do that roll. That is very bad. That is a 6.
6. So, holy shit. So,
I kind of want some of these body parts, though. Can I harvest from the arm tree?
Well, when that was a vision. We don't know if
if it's real.
If it will come true. It is definitely real, but
fair.
Will you encounter it? So what's happening is that on the 3rd or 4th day, there is some kind of dust in the it's some kind of dust storm, I would say, and but that dust storm. So how do you react to the wagon being rattled by the wind, and the dust particles getting into your clothes?
I mean, so Saffron is still probably outside the wagon. And if a dust storm is rolling in, dust is dust. I don't my eyes don't have water in them, so I don't that's fine. I don't need goggles. I don't need anything. But I think I would throw my kite up, try to get it above the dust.
Cool.
To maintain some sensory apparatus of some sort.
And what does Azure do? I mean, you are somewhat protected in the wagon, but there's still the dust particles coming in.
Well, I've got my little plastic face shield that should keep me from the elements. I would think. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to keep an eye out for anything that could get blown around, and just try to secure stuff, in the wagon to make sure it doesn't fly away.
Yeah, in the wagon there's a couple of barrels with some kind of synthahol. There's this crates with crystalline discs. And how's Nida protecting herself from the dust storm?
I'm in the porcelain walker.
That is true, but there's still the slit where the crab comes in.
Yeah, I think I'm just trying to hold my cloak up a little bit to it, just enough so that I can still see out, but it blocks a lot of the dirt and grit and dust from getting in.
Awesome. So now I think everybody is really well prepared for what is coming. The problem is it's not a dust storm. It is some kind of biomechanical crap that flies. So it's biomech garbage. And what I need you to do is everyone make a constitution test, which now means that all of a sudden you have to roll low. You have to roll under your constitution or equal. And I give you all advantage because you all have, you know, either like a plastic shield or goggles or something. But the thing about the biomech stuff is that it really is, you know, it moves around.
I got double twos.
Oh, what's the
Yeah.
what do you roll?
So
D6?
now
Oh.
you roll a d20 and you want to roll your attribute or lower.
Well, I kind of shit the bed because I rolled 19.
But you have advantage, so you roll twice and take the better result.
Got it. Oh, good. I got it.
Nice. And Nida?
Saffron rolled an 11, which is a miss. Because despite being a machine human, my constitution is only 6.
Uh-oh. So that is a problem. And Nida, what have you rolled? I think. Pocket, you are muted if you're trying to say something.
I said I wasn't able to roll yet. The dice were jumping around.
Okay.
All right, let's see what we get here. Whew. So that is 8 under 13.
Nice. All right, so what we see is probably Saffron like turning away in pain. Something hit your eyeball, and it is you can feel it is bigger than a speck of dust.
Yeah, and he's like, at this point, it's like trying to turn away from the oncoming wind, pulling my hood down and like touching at it to like figure out what the heck just hit my face.
And when you get it out, it's some kind of you know, it moves as well. So it has like tiny wires attached to it, and it looks almost like some kind of sea creature, but in really tiny. And it must have removed some elemental or like a crucial part of your camera or whatever your eyes work. And so here it says, blinded in one eye, this will require medical, in your case, maybe like mechanical attention.
Ouch.
Ouch.
Yeah. Like, so I'm like holding it and I'm like staring at it with my still one good eye. Is it like squirming? Is it moving around? Is it?
Yeah, it is definitely squirming. It is like these wire legs or whatever it is, they're moving.
Despite the conditions around me and this minor trauma to my face, would I in the moment be able to like squish a part of it to stop it from moving without like completely just like crushing it? Because let me say what I want to accomplish, and then we can figure out how to maybe do that.
Cool.
I want to essentially disable it and throw it in a pocket of my cloak for later, when I have a chance to actually like inspect it and figure out what the hell hit me. I mean, maybe there's something useful or interesting about it that I can figure out later.
Yeah, I mean, you're a machine human. Let's see.
Or we could just say I like crush a part of it now, and then later we can figure out whether I'm able to recover details.
that is definitely always possible.
Whichever seems more interesting. If it's more interesting to handle that later, we can handle that later.
Yeah, I would say you can definitely apply some kind of pressure to make it stop moving and throw it in your
Cool.
snack.
That sounds good.
All right.
I can do more like study on it later.
So while you're traveling through the dust storm, and the dust storm keeps on blowing for another day, and the landscape is changing a little bit. Let's see.
Is that the landscape from my vision?
This is the landscape from your vision. So now the grass is growing higher than before and lush, and it has like a sparkling quality to it.
I'm going to tell the team about my vision. So people are prepared.
And that is a good segue to rolling if you actually find that terrible beast. And that is, can somebody roll a d8 for me? And low is bad.
Who's gonna do it?
Nobody dares to do it.
I'll do it.
Okay, cool.
All right, you said D8, correct?
Yes, it is a d8.
I rolled it already. I got a 6.
Okay, cool. Well, I don't know. It's better than a 1. Okay, and I need another ape. Can you roll another d6, please?
D6 or D8?
In this case, a d6.
Okay. All right, 1d6. That's a 5.
That is a 5. All right. So, so you're lucky, I guess. What you see is, I think Nida sees them probably first, and it is a troop of hooded figures on these horned horses, and you have seen them before, albeit a different tribe. This one is the last tribe that you've seen. They had this horned antlers on their robes, and they had gas masks. And these they have goggles, and they're wearing like copper wires around their some kind of headwear. And it's 6 of them. And let's see, they are painted in their face, some kind of war paint, obviously, and on the back of one of they all have rifles, and on the back of one of the horses is it looks like it has the general shape of a lion, but it is pitch black, and it has like leathery wings, but it's obviously dead, and they seem to be in a celebratory, so that is a word, mood. So they when they see you, they show their guns, and they they let their horses, what's it called, prance. And yeah, they're more or less like showing off a little bit, but not in a threatening way. What do you do?
Can I lead out of the porcelain walker to smile at them and cheer them on?
Of course.
without falling out or?
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
You can definitely open the top dome, so it has this slit where you can look through, but you can also open it up a little bit like in a tank or something.
Like an ATST from Star Wars.
Yes, exactly that.
Okay.
And yeah, so when they see you, they hold up the guns and they shoot once or twice in the sky. Obviously, they are laser rifles. So, and they do come closer, assuming that this is what you like signal.
Sure, why not?
And so one of them behind her goggles, she says something in step to you.
Now, do I speak step?
Oh, one of you does.
We've got.
I do.
Oh yeah, Copernicus does. So yeah, you really get what she's saying. What is the rest doing?
If I'm driving the main cart there, would I hear it?
Hold on a second. Can I come back in 2 minutes?
Oh, sure.
Yeah. Is the idea to parlay with these guys to make sure that they don't, because they seem to, I don't know if they are outgun us, but I don't know. What's the game plan?
I document pretty much everything I see on the road, so if we can talk to them and find out about their culture or learn anything about it, I send it off as part of my travelogue.
Cool.
And maybe they have something useful. Maybe we can trade with them.
Yeah, I mean, definitely seems more useful to try to talk to them, or at least like just have them pass peacefully, than to try to be aggressive or anything. So,
plus, I'm always recruiting for the Legion of the Far Sight.
Does everyone in the party know that Copernicus speaks step? Or
yeah, because you were translating with us for that group of what was it, the ash white nomads, who were basically saying, this time, we're parting as friends, but if we see you again, we're going to kill you, type thing.
Okay, so we would be like, Nida would be able to be like, oh, let's divert you over to the person who can actually have a conversation with you. Okay, cool.
Sorry about that. So Nida, Copernicus, somebody said
Copernicus
something.
was going to translate for us.
Oh, cool. So she turns to you, Copernicus, and she says, "You have a pretty walker. Where did you get it from?"
It's stolen, right?
Yeah.
I'll say we got it from a friend.
She laughs about the obvious lie. It has the sign of this devils. Are your friends the devil?
Isn't everybody a friend of the devil?
She laughs again. Well, are you going to the celebrations, to the festivities?
What celebration would that be?
Well, we're burning the grass colossus, obviously.
Oh, that seems like it would be something not to be missed.
Unless you're inside of it, obviously. I kid.
Well, I'll make sure that I don't wander inside of a grass colossus.
You see two of the other nomads looking at each other like she's not kidding.
Oh, okay. I become weary of her.
And so she says the landscape can be very dangerous. Maybe we should travel together.
And you said there's 6 of them in total?
Yes.
I say possibly, but I would have to obviously consult with my companions first. I can't make decisions unanimously.
Good, neither can we.
Good. And I'll pull everyone aside and translate everything. And I say she seems a little bit off. I'm not sure. Do people really wander into giant colossi that are about to be burned? I'm not sure.
Sounds like we're going to get jumped.
Well, there's 6 of them, so perhaps we can ingratiate ourselves on the road. They won't attack.
We are headed the same direction ultimately, so it's not like we could part ways particularly.
And not only that, but maybe they like smoking too.
Yeah, get them all high and addicted. Well, that is a plan, I suppose. But then they'll follow us forever. And Vigo can't support that many habits.
Well, if they follow us, that means there's, I hate to put it so bluntly, but that means there's some cannon fodder.
So your plan is to get them to walk ahead of us?
I mean, it's not the worst idea.
I suppose. What are they traveling? Like, what's their speed compared to ours?
They would be slightly quicker, I guess.
So it'd be natural anyway to keep them ahead. We'll just
Yeah.
be like, oh, our.
Yeah, if you tell them not to travel with them, they would just they would ride on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we could travel with them, but keep them ahead of us.
As much as we're able to
our
coordinate that.
Our devil walker is slow.
Well, maybe slow, but at least it's stolen.
At least. How much are those things worth anyway? It's a lot, right?
Yeah, that's a lot. So a walker that you have scored is 4,000. I think. Hold on. I think you have the small model.
Yeah.
I think the big one is 4,000, and yours is 2,000.
We also determined that it would be potentially difficult to sell.
Well, to the enemies of the porcelain princess, you could sell them probably. You couldn't sell them back or so.
Yeah.
Can we give it a nice paint job at the next port of call?
Yeah, that is definitely a way to camouflage the theft.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're signaling this is property of the porcelain princess. Okay, so the rest of the journey is uneventful.
Do we pause at night for camping or anything like that?
Yeah, so that is maybe a good question, something I should have brought up at CATS. Do we want to, completely abstract traveling, or do you want to have like a small camp scene per 1 week of travel?
For me, I think unless there's a reason that we might want to have a camp scene, we just abstract it. And in this case, Knight is going to be interested because she wants to talk to these nomads, wants to learn about the tribe, the culture, their language, their customs, write it all up for the travelogue.
Yeah, so you can definitely, with the help of Copernicus, learn about the tribe. You do see that they have that they use recreational drugs as well. They have this. They look like long needles, long like azure blue needles, and at the camping site, the shaman that is with them goes from nomad to nomad and injects it. And also, you learn that that all the nomad clans, including the Ash White clan that you have pissed off in the past, that they meet once a year at the Grass Colossus, and then there's like the storytellers. They come together, and the shaman come together. There's like a lot of competition. And what you learn about their tribe is that they are mainly hunters. So some of the tribes are they follow the giant beasts, and some of them they hunt. And what they're also saying is that they will bring the bat lion that they hunted to show off at the Grass Colossus.
And which clan is this?
This is the Copper Wire clan.
Can I ask? Do those azure needles look familiar to me?
Well, they do look they do look attractive to you. Let's say that because of the color scheme, obviously, but it's not something that is used like in a ceremony or something. But I mean, you can try them, obviously. But remember, drugs are bad.
Yes. Are they? Is it like an IV thing?
I mean, you can also try to check if you have heard about them. Like make an intelligence check. Just roll a d20 and then roll your score under it.
Let me see. Yep, got it.
So you know that these are made from birds that the nomads also hunt and catch, and they're called. Let's see. It's called Ultra J. And you do know that in the Violet City, a dose goes for 250 cash.
Is that a lot? Sorry, I don't know the.
That is a lot. That is definitely a lot. That's higher than the purple haze that Vigo is smoking constantly.
Right. Do I know if it's like highly addictive?
It is.
I'll pass.
It gives you experience points, though, and an addiction.
Nah, because I'm gonna imagine it's probably hard to get. It's the wrong place to.
Yeah.
If I was hanging out in the city all the time, maybe, but I don't think so. I'll pass.
That's true. Anyone else is?
We roll to find out if we get addicted, right?
Yeah, that's true.
What do we roll against?
You're rolling against Constitution.
Is there any way to roll with advantage?
No. I mean, theoretically, if I guess if you're machine human, the chances that you get addicted is probably lower.
How much XP?
That's another good question. Let's see.
And then how do I get rid of the addiction if I actually get addicted?
Curing addiction takes a long time. Role play the struggle or use cure disease. there are no rules beyond that. It's hard. Figure it out. And I say it gives you 250 XP.
Yeah. What the hell? What does it do if when we're addicted? If we can't get it?
You roll certain things with disadvantage.
Copernicus, what are you going to do?
You know me. I'll try it.
Oh, what the hell? If Copernicus is going to do it, why not?
Okay, so the the shaman, everything that the nomads do is social. So everything they share. If they eat food, it's shared. They have some kind of drink that they share, but it's not alcoholic. So they pass like a cup around, and they pass their meat around that they hunted. And the shaman goes from nomad to nomad, injects the needle, and then goes around in the circle. And he passes Azure, and I don't know, she probably shakes her head, and then he gets to Nida.
I shrug and kind of move the cloak up, so you can see you can find a vein.
Yeah, and he puts it inside of the vein, and it is like you can feel a rush of joy just like running through your arm directly to your brain. It's like it's a weird feeling. It's like a rush of golden joy that just pops up in your brain. And so the night, it's a clear, cool night, but you see everything like as if, I don't know, it's difficult to describe. If you don't wear glasses, it's as if you have like new polished glasses and you can see everything super crisp. And you also feel super confident. Yeah, it's like happiness and confidence. It's a bit like cocaine, I guess.
Okay. So do I roll for addiction now or later?
Yeah, roll. I think a roll later is more interesting. I think.
Okay.
When they're gone with their stash of needles. And he passes by Copernicus.
Hit me. I tap the vein.
But you don't have a vein.
Oh yeah, right. I tap the insertion point in my suit.
Yeah, the last time you had something that you can open up. I mean, you do eat or not. Like you can get some kind of sustenance inside of your suit, so that the shaman injects the needle into that point, and you have the same feeling. Like you do, like when you look up, you see the fast stars again. So it's this weird. I mean, out of character, it's probably some long ago satellites that surround the planet in a very quick rotation. And you are somehow reminded of your chase. You're chasing the memories of your father, probably.
Does it give me a chance of remembering a memory or something like that?
No. It's only at locations. And then the shaman passes by Saffron.
I just kind of like have my hand and I like pull out my skin and shake my head, and I'm like, it won't. Like, sorry, like, kind of apologetically almost.
Yeah, the shaman also reaches out with his hand to touch the side of your head, where your obviously swollen eye is.
Mm.
And he says something instead that Copernicus can translate as, "That really looks bad."
And I think I'm like realizing that he's like the shaman is staring at my eye, and I'm like, I'm like doing this like equivocating thing where I'm like, oh, it doesn't hurt. It's just like it doesn't work. It's
cool. All right, so
sorry, can I interrupt for a second?
Yep.
Of course.
I have that wire and bone biomechanical salamander. Is he ancient tech or no?
Yeah, definitely. Well, he's not an ancient tech, but the salamander can definitely interface with machines.
Oh, okay. All right. So can I take a shot at that and see if we can do anything about his eye?
Yeah, definitely. It's a cool idea. So you do need to. We don't have to do it now, but normally you would have to say in advance, now I attune to the other thing. So you were attuned to your oracle.
Right.
And it normally takes a day to attune, but we have 7 days of travel. So during the week of travel, you could definitely have attuned to the salamander. How does it look like?
The salamander?
Yeah, is it like a normal salamander, but then it has like a port or something and a cable sticking out, or is it more like half machine, half?
Yeah, it looks like a skinned lizard. You can see its musculature is transparent, so you can see all the bones underneath it, but it's literally wrapped in like copper wire. And you can see that it goes into its skin, and its tail's got sort of a USB port sort of thing happening,
Cool.
and that's how I plug it into stuff.
And how do you like communicate with it?
I have like a iPhone shaped device that gives me readouts and visuals if I need it. If like there's video stuff. I don't know. Is there internet in this world?
No, there's no internet.
Well, I mean, like, if is there like, could there be like a database in it? Like, okay, the eye is messed up. Here's what you do, or does it just diagnose and say, or can it fix the eye? Might be a stretch, but I just want to see.
Yeah, I think it is a stretch, but for these cases, we can still roll. So I would say this is probably like, do you tell it what to do? Like how do
first I want to diagnose it and see what's up.
Yeah, so I'm trying to figure out what stat it would be. Probably intelligence, I guess. Could be charisma with a stretch.
No, I'll take intelligence. It's a better.
Cool. So make a roll. If you can like program, let's say, the salamander to do the thing.
Yeah, diagnose and repair. Yes, I got it.
Well, so now comes the point where Saffron obviously has to agree to be.
Sorry. You know what? There was lag. I missed it. Sorry, there was lag.
Oh, okay. I mean, do you suggest it to Saffron, and how does Saffron react? What do you say?
I think it would be one of the less weird things that I've had attached to a body part. But I don't know. It seems like Azure basically kind of knows what she's doing. Of like, you've clearly used this thing before.
Yes,
this isn't some.
It's like it's been my pet for a while.
This isn't some like crazy ridiculous idea. It's just like, oh, let's.
Yeah, no.
Some time to kill. Let's see if the salamander can dig around in your eye socket. And I'm like, yeah, sure. I mean, like, the eye socket isn't doing anything right now, so might as well try.
So I think what the salamander does is it clings to your face, and like the tongue protrudes, and it licks your eyeball. And you get the reading on your tablet. I think that the tablet looks probably. Can you describe how the tablet looks like? iPhone sounds a bit unsexy. Is it?
You know what? It's basically like a wrist, like a wrist. What are they called? You know,
Like a Fallout Pip-Boy.
Yeah, it's like a wrist. Like, you know, my whole forearm's covered by it. It's got like a big screen, big clunky screen. There's wires running all in and out of it.
Cool.
It looks like it's designed in the same style as the salamander. It doesn't attach to me or anything like that, but it's like definitely a janky, definitely a janky design.
And I think it's like a green and black like monitor, and it reads structural damage, attempting repair. And you know, it licks your eyeball, and the saliva moisturizes the eyeball, and it's like you see a little bit better now. It's a little bit like looking through a milk glass or something. But definitely the pain is gone.
I'll take it.
Great.
Better than nothing.
All right.
It can help more, but hopefully this will alleviate some of the stress.
Yeah. I'll admit it was a bit of a weird sensation to have salamander lick your camera, but yeah. Thanks.
No problem. If you need any more help, let me know.
All right. And with this slightly disturbing eyeball licking scene, I would say let's take, I don't know, a couple of minutes until 10 past, what's it called? 22, whatever time zone you're in.
All right. Sounds good.
Okay, cool. I'll just check the rules again. So what I did wrong the last 6 sessions is that you get a free discovery roll upon arriving at a location, and then characters can also opt to scout for discoveries. So, for example, Copernicus obviously has a reason to always look for the memories, and but you also get at least one try without spending one of the activities.
Oh, okay. So you could potentially do it twice?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay.
And then with a high enough roll, you can even get several discoveries.
Cool. I'm gonna search the shit out of places.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I'm back. Sorry.
Cool. All right. So after a week of travel, you make a last rest together with the nomads, and let's see. The resting place is just a pit in the steppe. It's a pretty terrible campsite for a longer stay, and quite unsafe. And the next day, when you wake up, they're gone. So upon arriving at a destination, so you're surrounded with the high sparkling grass, and one character, destination and discoveries, makes a wisdom check, and I think maybe Ape, would you make a wisdom check? So that means you roll under or equal to your wisdom to see if you find some kind of signs of an interesting place in the vicinity.
Is it possible to pass on that because my wisdom's only 8?
Yeah, it's like it's a character every week. It's a different character every week.
Oh, okay, cool. Here we go. Hey, got it.
Nice, awesome. What did you get? Oh,
5.
I'm completely stupid. I'm sorry. I'm not taking that away. I'm just trying to calculate now what that means. A 5 is probably in the 16 to 19 range. So you get 2 discoveries. And I think when you search the grass land around the camping site, let's see. I mean, you can definitely see another monstrosity. So when you wake up, you see something that is not dissimilar to your vision, Azure. But this thing is definitely more machine than anything else. It looks like a gigantic tower that's dragging itself on some kind of threads. So it's moving on tubes and pipes and coils that are exerted from the carcass and then retract, and it is gigantic, and like it's also like baroque in its form. So it's similar to the limbs that were grown from the monster that you see in your vision. This creature has these pipes and tubes growing out of it and oozing some kind of bioluminescent well, source. And it similar to the creature that you saw in your dreams or in your vision, it also leaves behind a trail of vegetation that is changing. So you probably have heard about source code, source code corruption, where some kind of biomechanical virus is injected into a biological being, rewriting its DNA and causing it to do something that it is not supposed to do. And that thing is dragging itself in about, well, it's super tall, so I think it would take you about a day to get there. And the other thing that you discover is when you search the grass around the campsite, you can find like what's it called? Like footprints, I would say, and these are humanoid footprints that lead to the north. So what do you do?
Well, I alert the crew of the different things that are going on. We've got the footprints to the north. We've got this giant, weird biomechanical tower off in the distance. I'm not really sure why we would want to go investigate the big tower, unless there was some kind of like upside, like, you know, scoring tech or something like that.
I mean, you can assume that there must be some kind of old tech things attached to it or inside of it. You just have to climb inside.
Or trying to harvest the sauce, as you called it.
Yeah.
The bioluminescent goop that has some weird properties.
The spice must flow.
What could go wrong?
Yeah, there's definitely some trade-offs here of we are accepting quite a bit of risk going anywhere near this thing.
We're not asking the correct question. The correct question is this oozing substance something that can be snorted, smoked, or injected?
I can safely say that it can be snorted, and it would, you know, give you a Vomish infection, which means over time you might grow some superpowers, but more likely you would grow some kind of. Have you seen Tetsuo the Iron Man?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is happening. At the end, that is the end stage of an worm infection.
I haven't heard any reason not to do this.
Still haven't heard any reason.
All right. Well, you guys want to go? Come on. I can interface with it if we put it down or something.
Just imagine us lassoing this castle from our giant thing that we ride.
Yeah, I'm debating. I guess if we're about to like set off on towards this thing, I'm debating if I want to switch miracles on the way.
That's a good point.
So this is like kind of, I think, both in character and out of character, being like, I think in character we're all like sitting, we're like, okay, are we all on board to go after this thing? And we're all kind of like, we are intrigued. We are intrigued enough to go towards it. And then two, it's like, what are we preparing? And I think at that point, Saffron is like, well, I have abilities, but I don't know how we want to approach this challenge. Do we burn it to a crisp and make it explode? Do we find a way inside? Or do I try to appeal to its machine nature?
You mean like treat it like a person?
It's a little more. Well, with machines, it's different, but it's letting our natures mingle and communicate at a very deep level.
Is it something? Do you think it's something that I could attach the let the salamander loose and see what it can come up with? Is the creature in there dead? You said.
Are you asking me? I don't know.
I don't think we really know what's going on deep
All right.
inside it.
I could let the salamander loose too.
Okay.
So let's go check it out.
So I guess actually, yeah, if we're not thinking we're going to need to fight a bunch of shit off, then I'll maybe just stick with doodle bugging, because I think once we're there, then it's like, okay, what is actually? It's kind of it's asking the what here is useful or valuable to me.
Yeah.
Question more than
how can I burn it down?
Yeah, it's like I mean, maybe if we need to escape, I'll be like, oh shit, I really wish I had prepared mechanical flame to just explode the thing. But okay, yes, I'll just stick with doodle bugging for.
And Azure is attuning to her salamander and Nida.
You know, this is a little too big for one shot from a sniper rifle to do much to. So Ajax is probably just kind of looking at me like, why do I even associate with you?
Yeah.
Why are you such a broken person? I mean, look at that thing. It's a bad idea to go over there. So what are you doing? Going over there. Humans.
You can write it in your log.
Oh, I fully intend to.
I don't think the cat cares about his travel log.
That's true. But for some reason, it could also be a place to find a memory, because it is a discovery. All right, so I envision. Oh no, nobody has to change their attunement. I think that you're all attuned to the things that you want to be attuned. So you don't have to spend a day.
Yeah.
But after the week of travel, you obviously have to remove 5 sacks of provisions.
Did we benefit on provisions from sharing stuff with the nomads, or?
Yeah, I would say you did. That's a good point. Let's say 4 sacks of provisions.
Okay.
All right. And
so
then
we'll be a little tight on food, but we have at least some left.
And then did you already take the 25 coins out of yours?
Yes.
Okay. Because I just realized I don't think I took it out of mine.
Yeah.
So following the I think these things are called autofacts. So autofactories that are they're still winding down, so to speak, from the long ago. Following the trail is super easy because you're following a trail of mutated plants. Let's see. There's also so do you take any stupid question? But do you take any precautions around the trail? And if so, what does it look like?
I'm going to walk behind Copernicus, figuring that anything that's dangerous will probably be taken care of by Copernicus in some way or another.
Yeah, I'm a witch, not a fighter. I'm going to lay low. I'll stay in the middle of the pack.
I guess another framing question for this expedition is this just the four of us going off, splitting from the caravan to do this? Okay.
Yes, every character that is not, like every character of a person that is not part of the session is in the background.
Okay, cool.
And you're on foot. Do you take the walker? What's the plan? Do you ride on the mules?
We give the walker drugs.
Is that a yes?
Actually, using the walker for this seems kind of reasonable, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, but the walker is also really valuable. Do we want to risk it?
Yeah.
How else will I lasso it?
I mean, do you have a lasso is the question.
I can make one.
We do have neural whips.
I have a prospector's kit and a porter's pack.
I think you need a cowboy kit or something. So I think, to be frank up front, I think the danger with a walker would be it steps into the goo and then it starts slowly mutating. The danger of not using the walker is some of you might step into the goo and starts mutating.
Ooh, both are cool.
Yeah, I was going to say, what is the danger of the walker mutating? That sounds awesome.
I take the danger back, the possibility.
I mean, it will, of course, alter the value of the walker in some way.
Yeah, okay.
It could be more valuable.
Say it again?
It might make it more valuable to us, and maybe we keep it.
Possible.
Oh wait, though it takes over. Wait, does it take over? Do the auto towers take over organic matter, or do they take over mechanical stuff and add?
It's biomechanical in nature, so the corruption affects mechanical things and biological things.
Oh, it's both.
Mm-hmm.
And we got to buy with a walker before.
Yeah.
Maybe we make a self-aware walker. It's fine.
It could be like that parasite that that flies get, where it takes over.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think that's what's happening with it.
Let's find out.
I don't mind.
So the walker would have space for 4 people, so it's possible.
Right, like a tight fit in the car.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. All right, I'd say take the walker.
And like
one last thing to consider: the walker is full of loot, so we will have to drop that on the ground and leave it there.
Yes.
Oh.
Or shove it in the back of the.
Not enough room in the wagon.
The
wagon is full up.
I think it's a poor choice then, because money is good.
So walking or taking the walker?
So maybe.
So we get. What's the big deal?
Yeah, if we walk, we can leave Vigo to guard stuff.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, by the way, I think Vigo hasn't been paid. The only thing that Vigo does is supplying Copernicus with purple haze. But
You mean he isn't doing that for free? I thought he was doing it just because he liked Copernicus.
Well, he's not bringing that up now, but he will bring it up at some stage. Probably when you sell the Vidi crystals.
Mm.
Okay, so I do understand that you go on foot. Is that true?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
my inclination.
I think it would have been cool to take the walker, but I think we can't practically make it work. So
Okay, so and I also understand that Copernicus is in the front and everything else is hiding behind Copernicus. And so you would have to have a look out for anything dangerous or unusual.
Sounds good.
alternately, do we want Saffron to lead a trail by using a miracle now? Do we think the finding a safe path there is the hard part? Or do we think figuring out what we want to do when we get there will be the hard part? What are folks thinking on that?
I don't know. It might be a good idea to do that. To have you
To guide.
Yep.
So Saffron could either guide now and that it's like a safe passage to the thing, or that the journey to the thing is dangerous, but then when you're there, they could find the valuable parts inside.
It's a matter of like odds are good. I can probably only get away with doing it once given my HP. So
I do have that healing potion.
yeah.
I think we should just try it because the interesting part was the danger. Like if it was kind of interesting. Like maybe we could turn into a robot or something. I don't know.
Okay, so we'll just walk there and see what happens.
Yeah, let's see what the spice melange does to us.
Okay.
Copernicus is offering themselves up for.
Is Copernicus really eager, or is it more the player who wouldn't mind?
Yeah, the player, I think.
So Copernicus is actually looking out for anything. Can I have a wisdom check then? Which is roll equal or under your wisdom.
Reroll. Nope. 13.
So, what you haven't realized is that the thing is not only leaving behind the goo. So obviously what you see is that the goo transforms the grass, for example. So there are parts where the grass is so high that it resembles like a small copse of trees. And there's obviously shrubs that completely changed their. So some of them seem to be made from plastic, for example. And when you move through, it's almost like a mad, like strips of the landscape has turned into a mad, chaotic jungle that, while you pass through it, is already like wilting. So whatever energy it leaves behind is also just short-lived, relatively short-lived. But Copernicus, you make a step, in between these gigantic grass things, and before you, like you can see your foot disappearing into the ground, and I think neither you're behind him. You can see that he's falling. What do you do?
Oh crap! I'm gonna try to grab him and pull him out. Is that something I can do with my neural whip so I don't have to get too close?
You could theoretically, but then obviously Copernicus gets a shock from the whip.
I have a dex of 16. Would that help?
I mean, you described like we have the old school D&D marching order, and I think
right.
the way it was described you in the middle, so you're behind neither. I think it's possible, but you would roll with disadvantage. I think neither is closer to Copernicus.
All right, that's fine.
Okay, can I at least toss out the end of the neural whip to Copernicus to grab? Is that a way to do it without risking shocking Copernicus?
Yeah, I think that is possible. So Copernicus, you fall and you can see the. I assume that neither has some kind of gloves. You can see the hilt of the whip like dangling before you while you're falling.
Grab it. Maybe.
I think this is a Dex check.
All right, for me or for Copernicus or for both?
I think for Copernicus, yeah. Okay. I think neither is strong enough to hold him.
Yeah, barely 13 of 14.
So you're dangling in this pit, and you can see that on the bottom of the pit, there has been grown some kind of metallic spikes that grow out of the ground. But you can climb out of of this weirdly grown spare trap and walk on. And after because you're relatively slow, you can see that you close the distance between the tower and yourself. But you also see that it will take about 3 days to reach it.
Okay. I guess too late to turn back now. Let's go for it.
How's the food situation going?
Not good.
Oh.
Is the answer.
Yes, starving rules. Finally.
Is it? But we get to eat once. We eat 1 sack per week.
Yeah,
Is it?
that is true.
And it's only 4 days, right? So if we make it quick back, then no problem.
Well, we'll get there on 7. We'll get there on 7 and have to walk back for 3.
Yeah, but you have 1 sack for 4 people.
Yeah,
I have a Voyager's deal. I have a Voyager's pack.
Uh-huh.
The Voyager's supplies. Is that it? Is that the food?
Yes. 1 sack of supplies.
Oh, nobody else has it?
Well, the supplies generally are stored with the caravan.
Oh. So
I mean,
can we take it there and back on my supplies?
I think we can assume that you took all the provisions with you. That is a fair assumption.
Yeah.
But then, so it's like you would have to live on half a ration a day, so to speak, to go there and go back, and then it would be used up. So let's say
for 4 of us to make it.
Yeah, for the 4 of you. So let's
How long
see.
is it till we get to our destination? How many days is it?
Yeah, it would be 3 days to keep up with the tower.
No, I mean, okay. So if we go back and head to our final destination,
The next supply point.
Oh,
Yeah.
the next supply point.
yeah.
So what you could do is you can stay in you can stay for a week and forage, for example, to resupply instead of traveling on. And traveling to the next destination is another week, I think. Let's see.
To get to the Grass Colossus, I think is a week.
Yeah, the Grass Colossus is another week.
I don't know, guys. That sounds like it's pretty sucky to starve. That's the sucker's way to go out. As much as I like the tower, I think we should probably just head on to the next spot. You know, because I can contribute my Voyager supplies. You know, unless some of you guys are great at foraging, I'm not.
What's that we used to forage with?
That is a good question. Let's see.
I mean, we're short food either way. We kind of relied on maybe getting some more supplies at the trail, or that's how we didn't budget for getting all the way to the grass colossus.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Let's see. Foraging is 135. 53, I mean. Yeah, it's a relevant test. I would say in this case it's wisdom.
I mean, I'd be happy to lead a foraging effort. Saffron is the wisest amongst us.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, the question is more: do you keep up with a tower, do the thing, and then return and then forage, or do you like turn back now, ignore the tower, and spend a week of foraging?
I mean, Saffron is still thoroughly tempted about going after this.
I mean, the stuff that must be inside for you is very tempting.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I like want to get a memory.
Mm-hmm.
So, if that means,
oh, you know what? Maybe there's more vile parts in it. Okay. No, it's only by destination, right? Like if once I get to the next supply spot, that's where I check for it, or does the tower count?
The tower counts.
Okay, all right, I'm in. Let's forage. I get dibs on vile parts.
All right, so you follow that weird thing and its trail for another 3 days, and then you stand, almost next to it. You see it's like the ground is rumbling, the ground is moving. There's this, plants shooting out from behind. You can see everywhere these tubes and coils extruding from underneath it, where it walks, and then it sinks in and it drags itself up, and it looks like broken and wounded almost. But you can also see higher up, orifices, if that is a word. So openings, things that are opening and closing as well. You can see latches and definitely different ways to get inside. So what do you do? There's a very strong smell of motor oil as well. And there's like it's almost ammonium, I think, like a very sharp smell.
I'd like to approach it and command the salamander to get inside and start looking around.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Can I say that there's like a video link? Or some sort of connection that we have?
I think it would have to return to a certain vicinity. I'm cool with some kind of wireless connection with a thing, but it's probably not extending too far.
Okay, that's fine. I'll just have it. Can it record stuff? Their memory?
Yeah, it should be like a short. Why not? Like a short, I don't know, like 3 minutes video feed it could record.
Okay. All right. So I'll send it in and have it look for old tech / vile parts.
Mm-hmm.
Do we want to try to get up to the top there as well? I'm sorry. Can I diagnose it first? Have it plug in to diagnose it to see, like, you said it looks wounded.
Yeah. Yeah, you can
Okay.
definitely send it in to try to find like a port to connect to.
Okay, I'll do that.
And what is Saffron doing?
I think and I think initially Saffron is interested to see what Azure gets back from the salamander.
Mhm.
Partially like, okay, once we know a little bit more about it, then I'll be able to kind of pinpoint more what I'm trying to find in it, or like get to in it. So then that will influence what I douse for, basically.
Yeah. So I think the danger here is obviously that the salamander just gets either assimilated into the creature or somehow infected by because it is literally oozing corrupted source code.
Oh. Well, that's different because he's vulnerable to it.
Yeah, definitely. Like as soon as you connect anything mechanical to it, there's always a chance. But you obviously can roll on it.
All right, fuck it. I only have one more game after this one, so why not?
Awesome.
What do I roll?
So I think, like, how do you you communicate? Probably with, I would say, intelligence.
All right, what's my intelligence? It's 12. All right, let's hope. Wish me luck, fellows. 1. Boom.
That is a great success. Well, in Whitec, actually, the higher you roll under your thing, the better. But a 1 is definitely a success. So you can see the salamander like slithering into climbing up the tubes and pipes, and it disappears into a crevice in that creature, and like, I don't know, maybe half an hour later, it comes out and it crawls back to you, and you get on your display, it says status. So first of all, it says that the thing is decaying. So it will lose its integrity per day. You can also find out that there are like safety mechanisms inside. So it says like safety mechanism, meat centipedes, black metal spiders, petri anemones, and it also says uplifted servitors. So it doesn't really say what that is, but I mean, uplifted probably means that it's some kind of sentient pet. And then under commodities, I think it says beast eggs and old tech.
And what?
Old tech.
Oh. No vial parts? That's 20%, right?
Oh yeah. I think I'm not sure if your salamander would, like, your salamander was now checking for, I guess at least, for like the status of the thing. So if you want to find the vial parts, you would have to go inside.
Okay. All right. Well, it looks like this is pay dirt, fellas. Want to go in?
Hell yeah.
Excellent. So is this thing like the size of a dungeon or something like that, or a skyscraper?
No, I think it's like the size of a water tower. I don't know, maybe what is it in feet? I want to say like 15 meters, which is 45 feet.
50
okay.
meters is about 140 or is about 150 feet.
Oh no, 15 like
15 meters. Okay.
15, 20 meters high, and then but it is really like it's a big fucking machine. So it's definitely longer than it is high. So maybe 3 or 4 times the length, the height.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, it is definitely a small dungeon.
All right, let's go.
I sketch it out real quick just to have a record of what it looks like before it starts decaying anymore.
Is there any from the outside? Is there any like we said like, oh, we need to go inside. Like, is there any obvious port of entry or?
There are several ports of entry,
Okay.
but they are all completely different. Like one of it looks like the hatch of a U-boat, like a submarine or something. Another one is like I don't know, like a sewage, a big sewage pipe with a metal grill in front of it. There's definitely on the end there are tubes that just open up and close, and some of them leak the goo, and some just leak water. So there are definitely different ways to get in.
Okay. Take the waterway.
I think at this point, Saffron is like, none of these necessarily seem any better than another.
Not obviously.
And so instead of just flipping a coin to see which one we go in, I want to feel it out.
But you look for like precious things, right?
Yeah, I think at this point I want to find like, I want to be led to like both like getting to the rare thing. I think I'm going to propose it with like 2 bullet points. It's like lead me to the rare thing and lead me there in a decent path to it.
Okay, so I would say because it's 2 things. Let me have a look at the White Hack rules.
So would that be like a?
At the moment, it is a 2d6.
Oh, okay.
But you can always either say, you take to one thing, that would be 1d6. You could also say it takes a lot of time. You could say you need some kind of, I don't know, do you have some kind of fuel, like do you have black gold that you can burn?
I don't think I have any
or any other rare
reagents right now.
Yeah.
So, well, I guess we could just deal with it being potentially dangerous and at least be on the right path.
Yeah.
And go from there.
And from the stuff that the salamander told you, or that Azure told you, what is most interesting to you? So, is it the beast egg masses? Is it the old tech? Do you want to communicate with one of the uplifted servitors that are running around? Do you want to go to the there's obviously some kind of CPU.
I think yeah,
from your point of view, the whole thing is worth, if you could repair it, like 3 million or something. I mean, you would need obviously parts that has decayed.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, you're a machine human. For you, that is just like a wounded machine that is not functioning correctly.
Yeah.
Well, what about this? So, do we want to split up the Mystery Inc. gang? Because I think going to the CPU, we can diagnose if it's worth saving. And I know there's old tech that Saffron wants to hunt for.
I think Saffron would be primarily wanting to go to the CPU.
Oh, okay.
At this point, to both try to talk to the thing, just because it seems old and will potentially know things. The old tech is potentially useful for Saffron's goals, but not as directly as like the CPU and then like the side effect of going to the CPU is maybe we could figure out a way to help it.
So there's hostiles in here, correct? Like security systems, that sort of thing?
Oh, right.
Yeah.
So isn't the rule don't split the party when you're looking at
Probably, since I didn't find us, since I can't afford to get us there and safely with doodlebugging, then we probably should stick together.
Sounds good.
Okay, so really quick. I hear dice rolling. That's never a good thing. How's your health right now?
My health is, I hope I don't kill myself doing this. If this is actually a 1d6 roll, my odds are okay, but I have 5 HP.
I do have that healing potion. Or
Well,
the healing ointment or whatever it's called.
5 is my max.
Okay.
So...
Yikes, right?
Yeah. I guess mechanically, with white hack rules, what happens if I burn all my HP on a miracle?
I think you. How many HP do you have?
I have 5. So if I roll a 5, I drop to 0. If I roll a 6, I don't have enough.
Yeah, I think you can't perform a miracle that would kill you. So you need to reduce the HP further somehow. For example, you could say, I don't know, you have to program the doodle thing for a whole night or something.
Okay, so like it takes time.
It takes time, for example.
To then reduce it to a D4, so I can't possibly die. It's not that if the miracle would kill me, it fails.
No.
It's that we have to negotiate it down.
Yeah, you have to negotiate it down. So you could also say the effect could be lesser. So instead of directly leading it to the CPO, it shows you the general direction, maybe.
Okay. So this is at this point entirely in character. I think of Saffron is just like, given what we know is in there, and I look over at Azure, and I think we're kind of in agreement. It's like we want to get to this thing's processing core.
Yep.
But to get us there, I either need to spend a night channeling out here, or we dive in and follow the best intuition I can muster, and it maybe takes us longer inside. Which is the less bad option?
Well, is the tower going to continue on, and we're going to have to spend another day catching up with it?
No, it's really slow. You would have to like 2 hours or something to catch up.
Yeah.
Well, I think it probably. So wait, you're going to use your miracle to find the path to the CPU, or are you going to use it to juice the CPU and
Find us a path. Get us to it.
well?
How long do we estimate it would take to search this whole square area?
The whole thing inside, depending
Yeah.
on if it's like completely empty, not really much, but
Like a
depending
couple
on,
hours.
yeah, a couple of hours, day
But we're going to
maybe.
do some fighting when we get in there.
Yeah. It's, I think, like, if I lead us directly there, maybe we're talking about like 1 or 2 encounters. If we're scouring the entire place, 4, 5, depending on luck. Like, I don't know, but that's how I could imagine this playing out.
Mm-hmm.
So if we're not concerned about like the weird plant life and stuff out here as much, or maybe whatever random stuff might roll through overnight, my inclination is to take the prep up front and have us spend less time inside.
All right.
The downside, I guess the other trade-off is more time spent inside, we might find other random shit that is valuable or useful.
I want to keep an eye out for vial parts because I need them real bad for a thing that I need to do.
And we could eat the eggs, maybe.
I'm just
Scrambled
looking
beef.
at it, and the more we avoid conflict, the better.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Nida's vote is for staying outside and then going in the morning.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's plan that.
Awesome. Okay, so you how does the I can't remember the name, Google or
Doodle
something?
bugging.
Doodle bugging look like? Is it like your eyes go wide? Do you actually use like a dowsing rod?
I think for this, because this thing is big and tall and wide and gross, I actually unroll my kite and I let the kite kind of pull me. And it's essentially channeling these kind of like random feelings of things.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like the kite, it happens to catch a breeze this way, and then it like shakes over here, and then it gets close to one of the entrances.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like the cilia on the back of the kite just start like waving in a particular pattern that I can read.
Yeah, it's probably some kind of electromagnetism that you can sense and so forth.
And I mean, some of it is like I don't even really know how it works. It's a miracle, not science.
Yeah, more art than science, maybe.
Yeah. So
cool. So
a quick question.
Yes.
Do we know if there's anything organic in there that Ajax is like, narcotizing darts would have any effect on?
Well, there's this servitor pets. They must be biological to some extent.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, the entire thing has some amount of biology to it, even if it's not primarily.
Got it.
So if you can convince the cat to come inside with us.
Got it. Okay.
So you get a strange feeling, Saffron.
Mm-hmm.
You get a feeling like while you are doodle bugging your way inside of the thing, you get a deep feeling of melancholy, and you don't know if it comes from you or if it comes from the thing. But it's remembering. I don't know if it's remembering past times when these things were like pristine and new, or if it is the depressed CPU that is somehow like channeling that feeling to you.
Interesting.
All right. So the next day, you definitely have a clear idea about where to go, and you also have a good feeling that the central processing unit is somewhere higher up. So there's definitely one of these hatches that you can see from where you are now, that you could relatively easily climb up to.
That sounds like a good approach then.
And do you take any precautions? Like, do you have rope or something, or do you? It doesn't look really terribly difficult, but I mean, it's also a moving thing that is shuddering and vibrating.
I mean, if anyone has like something that could serve as climbing gear, or one of us scrambles up and drops a rope.
Doesn't at least one of us have some kind of...
Does the farm boy pack have rope in it?
What does it say?
Hold on,
Yeah.
I can.
You have a pet rodent, a memento, a backpack, sacks worth of trail mix.
You would think.
Nope.
You would think archaeologist pack would have it.
Yeah, definitely. Archaeologist pack has ropes.
Yeah,
Probably
I have that.
even some kind of climbing.
So does Dungeoneer's kit, excavator kit.
Yeah, so we totally have some. If someone wants to scramble up first and like hook a rope at the top.
Does Dex help with that?
Yes, probably. I'm like, I'm probably not the person to scramble up first.
I'm happy to.
So
yeah, it's as I said, it's relatively easy. I would say,
yeah, but we might as well play it safe.
Yeah, exactly. So I would say it's let's see, it's rolling dexterity, and then what I do if it's something is easy, I give a bonus. I think it's a +4. So you add 4 to your stat and then try to roll equal or under.
Oh, that's 20.
So
Yeah,
on a 20, that is a fail.
Right. I can roll the 16. I'm good.
Awesome. So yeah, we see Azure relatively with a lot of agility climbing this rusty. I described it as a tower. It's not really a tower. It's actually a moving machine, which has tower parts to it. And you can attach the rope to there's a lot of stuff here where you can that you can attach it to. And I think we go to the break when all of you are like healthily, without falling down, in front of the hatch, and peer inside. And we can see that tube that leads into the dungeon.
I don't think it matters, but the 16 would have been a crit, right, for Azure. 16.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Oh, it does matter. It definitely gives you like a bonus of some kind. Let me think about it during the break. Shall we say, I don't know, 10 to the hour?
sounds good.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Good.
So, Pocket, do you have a game today? Do you
Nope,
run some?
this is it for the rest of the day for me, which is good
Oh.
because I didn't really get much sleep last night.
Yeah.
I'm running out of about an hour's sleep right now.
Yeah, convention can be tough. I think
Well, oh, go ahead.
in my first Gauntlet Con, I had 3 games every day, and I really wanted to get into some of them. So it was, I don't know, at 2, at 8, and at 1 a.m. or something.
Yeah.
And that for 4 days, that's crazy. I'll never do that again.
Luckily, this is a lot more relaxed than Gauntlet Con. I mean,
Yeah.
most of the time there's 2 or 3 games running at any given time. There's some peak hours that have a little bit more, like, you know, it might be up to half a dozen if you're talking about afternoon or evening, like basically about this time or in an hour or 2. But yeah, it's just it's a lot more chill than that. I mean, there's no land rush for games or anything like that. It's just been, and like I said, I think for the most part, you know, people who play on the Gauntlet quite a bit are just kind of letting folks who aren't really from the Gauntlet or on the Gauntlet that much play. So that's
Yeah, I think it's really a good idea. I definitely hope that this becomes like a regular thing.
Yeah. You know, I gotta say, so do I. I mean, I don't know that it's practical to do it every month, but
Yeah,
it's certainly something that could be done every other month. You know, maybe do it quarterly.
yeah. I mean, during the lockdown and everything, maybe every month is actually a good idea.
Yeah.
But like a quarterly thing could be more reasonable afterwards.
Yeah. The only problem is that, you know, like I wound up having to open door a session last night for a game that I got waitlisted into. And it's like, oh crap. Of course I'm going to get into this game after I've already set up something for this, for the open gaming event.
Yeah.
So that
So
was,
you think so double booking is an issue, you think?
absolutely. Because you basically, with Gauntlet Con, basically everything stops and it's just Gauntlet Con. But with this, you have 2 things running in parallel. You have this kind of broader community outreach effort at the same time the games are running on the regular schedule. So,
I mean, if I would have known beforehand that this weekend is the open gauntlet thing, I wouldn't have put a game on. But I think the idea is that the normal schedule goes on, and it's just extra.
yeah. Well, and it's also, this is for people who aren't, I mean, obviously people who are already on the Gauntlet can jump in, but a lot of this is people who are not on the Gauntlet. So I mean, the people I was talking to last night, with the exception of Will Shipley, I don't think they knew about the forums. So they didn't know where games were listed. They wouldn't have had access to any of the stuff that we normally do. They're not on the Slack. So it's basically an effort for people who don't get access to the games the way that most of us do.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's a great idea. Okay. Abe, are you back?
Yes, I am. Sorry, I've been here the whole time. I didn't realize everybody else was back. I was just listening to you.
Okay, cool. So I think we make the 2 roles first, which is, will Copernicus find a memory, and will Abe find a piece of a vial? So roll a d100, 20 or lower.
All right.
How do you roll a d100?
So
2d10.
Oh, right.
Or you can roll XDY and roll for your party to do arbitrary.
Oh, yeah.
If that's easier.
Wait, what?
There's an
XDY.
DY button.
I rolled a 16.
No way. Awesome. All right. So my first question for you is obviously what I need to have some information to work on. So I know that your father was a big figure in the Violet City before their reign was ended.
Yeah, I think of it a lot like Krypton.
I'm not deep into the Superman lore, I have to say.
So just like the civilization was wiped out by their own hubris or whatever, and I left.
Yeah. Okay. And so, what is the? I mean, you do have memories of your father, like you remember him from at least being a child or something.
Yeah, and my whole mission is, I have this memory that I need to get to the city because I have it in my head that I'd be able to sort of bury the dead, or like something at the end is for the people, and I'm transporting myself to that location for that purpose.
And so my second question would be how, like, is it some kind of VD crystal? Is it some kind of proprietary haze? Like,
yeah, I think it would be incorporating some kind of haze within myself to like bolster whatever I am, like my real self, my corp, like my gas form or whatever.
yeah.
So I have these like gouges out of me maybe, and then these substances make me more whole so that I remember these things.
So I would imagine that whatever it is like like a capsule or something that you would use for inhaling helium or something. Like how do you call these things? Like a cylinder or something, metal cylinder that holds some kind of gas.
Yeah, capsule is good.
Capsule. And so obviously the machine would have had to ingest that technology on its way. So the capsule had to be left behind somewhere, and the machine just waltzed over it, taking it into its body. So I think you come across. Sorry, Abe. What was your role?
I rolled a 14.
No way, Jesus.
Yes.
Okay, that will be the next room then. So you come into this tunnel, and I have a question for Nida. And my question is, what tells you that this machine is some kind of like versatile, like a universal monkey wrench machine, so it can make everything. So I assume that you walk through this tunnel and then you see one of the production units. So what gives away that it is able to theoretically produce everything?
It's constructing lattices. It's hard for us to explain it because as Nida, I don't have the vocabulary for it. But in terms of what we know out of character, basically there are lasers that are assembling materials out of nanoparticles and out of nanites. And you can watch them shift and reconfigure themselves at the same time that they're being constructed on this scaffolding of a structure of whatever it's supposed to become. And it's basically just a very loose framework. The nanites will do the rest of the work, but it's assembling that scaffolding for the nanites to reside on and build a colony on.
And my second question is for Saffron. So what element of this production unit is like in what way is it biological? It's not the lasers, I assume.
Sorry, what was that last?
So the lasers are probably lasers.
Yeah.
But what is the biological element of this room that has also grown like cancer a little bit? So changed its original purpose.
I think we see like there's this in the original. If you're like picturing back to like what the original manufacturing facility, like the factory floor, would have looked like. Like way back in the original version would have been these like pristine stainless steel sheets that were like bent around. So like in the original, they're already kind of like a little organic-ish. Like think like Geary style architecture or stuff like that with like the big sheets bent around. But now over the ages that this has been mutating and shifting and weird materials flowing through, these sheets are now like lumpy and melted and shifted around, and you can kind of, if you pay close attention, you can tell that they're kind of like slowly inching across the ground, and like maybe one of them is like clacking, but it's clacking wet sounds. Like it's like there was some flap or part of the fabrication mechanism that would like open up and close, but now instead of being this metallic clang, it's this like whoop, 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 whoop.
Like almost like skin or something. Yeah, awesome. And next to the production facility, there is something where from outside there's a chute or something where all kinds of crap is brought into the machine in order to then turn into nanites, in order to then turn into whatever the thing builds. And while you're passing by Copernicus, you find one of these metallic capsules with the symbol of your father's house.
Is there like a lot of capsules and then one of them is the one of my father's house, or is there just one capsule?
No, I think that there are actually like there are definitely several of these capsules together with also, I don't know, other metal scrap and all kinds of gears and stuff that they picked up. But there are definitely several capsules, and you can identify the one with the symbol of your father's house.
Excellent. I guess it probably isn't the best time to imbibe it.
But you do grab the whole, you grab several of these capsules. Awesome. And so while you are at this chute, you can also see while you're grabbing them, you can also see that they are from that smaller room. There are these black metallic spiders crawling out of the trash, and they have like two cameras that focus on you, Copernicus.
Okay.
They're about the size of a small puppy.
I think what I'll do is what do I have? I put beauty products over the lens.
Is it like a spray or something? You have beauty products?
Yeah, I think it's probably like in a jar, a container, or whatever, and I just sort of like grab a scoopful and put it over it so they can't see whatever it is. It makes it like obscured or whatever.
Awesome. So let's say if that works, make me a luck roll. It's charisma And I think it was a great idea. So roll with advantage.
All right, charisma is a 12.
So the question is, are they confused by not seeing clearly?
Oh, let's see. What's my? Oh no, 13 and a 20, and I have a 12.
So you feel a. I mean, I probably have to roll. Let's see. And they have a level 2. That means 12. So you can see that there's like the stinger that comes out of the. What would it be? Like the mandibles or something, and they're trying to sting you.
I forgot the machines in this place are alive.
So the one hit, and the other one hits as well. So so you're pinched by 2 of these spiders, and they do a d4, so 2d4. Did that roll? I think so. It's the last roll. Last roll 0. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think it worked then.
Okay, reroll selected. That's the one. Okay, this is a 1. The other one is a. Oh Jesus! Come on. The other one is a 4. So 5 damage.
That's my HP, but I have AC 3. Does that matter?
So the 3. Actually, it's just the 1 then, because the second one rolled a 3, but they have to roll over the AC. So actually, your armor class shielded you from. So you can see the second mandible gets entangled into the mesh of your armor. But you do feel that your left arm is paralyzed.
And I take 1 damage?
And you take 1 damage.
Okay.
And they're still on the loose, so they're still focusing on you. But you can easily outrun them.
Okay. Are we running? Am I or
do you want to destroy them and look in the trash for more treasures, maybe?
Ooh. How many are there?
2.
Two little pricks. All.
You can't use your sword because your left arm is paralyzed.
Oh yeah.
Could I toss Copernicus a neural whip?
I have a hidden revolver in my prospector's kit too. So maybe I Indiana Jones them when they come at me.
It does look like we're rolling like a. Let me look at the time. So we could roll for initiative, which takes a little bit of time, or you could, we could move on. What do you think is more interesting?
I mean, we have session close down stuff to do, don't we?
Yeah. Experience points and everything.
And
I want to say I gloss over this. Let's move on. Okay, so we just assume that you leave that room. Is that okay with everyone?
Sure.
Okay.
We close the hatch and turn it.
Yeah, exactly. Close the door, and you can see like one of the little arms of the spider is also like crashed into the closed door, but still moving. Okay, and so there's some kind of transportation system that leads up. So Copernicus, what is it? Is it like I don't know, like a paternoster. Do you know what a paternoster is? Is that English?
No.
Paternoster is like what you have in this old in older times in New York, where the elevator would just constantly go up and down. So it's open. You just step inside, and it.
Well, I like
takes.
that. Sure, like a freight elevator or something.
But Copernicus, what is the biological element of it? Like, do you stand on meat, or are the walls pulsating? Is the ropes from, like, I don't know, intestines or something?
Could it be like a almost like a big hand is grabbing it and pulling it up and down?
Why not? Definitely. I don't think it's the hand that's grabbing it. It's probably like the thing that you're standing on has the shape of a hand, and as you stand on it, it also feels like soft and wobbly.
Sure. We become the hand.
And so, Azur, as you pass one of the floors, you can see that there is. It almost looks like it's probably something like a medical station, so a place where the biological creatures of this machine were repaired. How does it look like? Like, it is some kind of med bay.
And it's biomechanical?
And it's biomechanical in nature.
All right. So basically, everything has like a metal sort of well, not infrastructure, but like everything is kind of wrapped in metal, like steel bars, and like it's kind of a bit like a Rube Goldberg machine, in that you know, they've got these like you know they've got these pieces that pump up and down that sends blood through some pipes, and then they get captured within like these giant kind of meat sacks that are inside these the metal cage things.
Nice.
And so so basically it's it is a combination of bio and mechanical. The mechanical stuff, there's like a old school computer banks, like with the reel-to-reel tapes, and like like the checkerboard flashing lights, and a big panel with like old school computer keyboards, like back when they were like half the size of a room. There's some mainframe stuff.
Yeah,
those have like pods hanging down from them that are glowing. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah. Awesome. And so you can also see like it must be an old container, almost like a sarcophagus or something, and it has this weird runes that probably who would recognize them? Yeah, well, you would recognize them as Black City alphabet runes. You can't. I don't think. What's your intelligence?
Mine's like 11. Wait, let me see.
Yeah, so you don't have like an additional language or something.
No, I don't have anything like that.
You recognize. Yeah, you recognize them as Black City alphabet. You can't read the language, but definitely the this container. It's smaller, like a sarcophagus, but and it's from some kind of like heavy metal, some lead or something. You definitely are reminded of the shape of the container where you have found, or where the crystal heart was stored. So while the hand is moving up, you can see that there's well, probably a vile artifact.
Okay, can I stop the elevator?
No, it's it's moving up and down.
Oh, right. All right. Well, I'll jump
So
off.
it moves up.
I'll jump off
Cool.
at that spot.
How? Cool. So you jump off, and there's still creatures in this room, and there are so-called meat centipedes that strip the meat from the bone of some poor antelope, probably that was gooped up by the machine.
Oh, so there's still all right. Can I send my salamander? Can I throw my salamander down there to grab it?
The thing itself is quite big. It's like I think it's too big for the salamander. You could use the salamander maybe to, I don't know, to distract the centipedes.
All right, I'll do that.
All right, and I don't think it is outside of the. Have you Oh, you. Yeah, I think you can do it, but you do have to roll. So let's see how well you do. I think it's probably charisma check to tell the the salamander how it should distract the centipedes. I mean, it will buy you time anyways. The question is how wounded it will be.
Got it. I rolled an 8.
Awesome.
11.
Okay, so I think the salamander is like slithering away, and the centipedes look up and follow it, while you can retrieve the sarcophagus. Do you open it, or do you take it with you?
Is it?
It's pretty heavy, but it's like I would say it's 5 stone, which is half a sack.
So okay, so can I see what the vial part is or no?
Yeah, I think that there's like a very thick, almost crystal window in it, and you can definitely see that it is. Let me think. I think it's a vile brain.
Nice.
Brain in the sarcophagus. I
Is
don't know
it
if you
floating in water, or is it in like a jar or something, or it's
yeah,
just
it's floating in a jar, I think.
okay? Yeah, I'll crack it open,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'll take the jar and wait for the elevator.
Okay, cool. And so I think we do a last scene, which is in the CPU. So I think I go to Nida. Nida, this is the like literally the brain of the operation, the brain of this machine. And what tells you that there's a consciousness, and that this consciousness is depressed?
Ajax does.
Tough question. So,
Ajax is telepathic.
yes.
And so I suddenly hear Ajax in my mind saying, not that I care or anything, but like this thing's actually thinking at me, and it's just whatever. You're silly enough to come in here. You're probably not going to listen to anything I have to say now.
Please come down.
Why?
I need you to come down. Please
Okay.
come down.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
All right. And Chris, so this room is
I'll be right back, guys. Sorry.
okay, no worries. Chris, so this room is has been controlled by people. So there are these levers and consoles. There's probably like old tech monitor screens, And again, it has been mutated over the eons. What has changed?
Trying to think, just because like the time scale is so long, especially I think in this central place, that I think there's kind of this like fibrous membrane has just kind of woven its way through all of this. And it's like almost like neural tissue kind of look. And so it's, you know, integrated into all of the screens, and it's wrapped around the knobs on the levers and all of this. Because essentially I'm picturing this like it has had to run itself for ages, because there's been no workers in here to run the factory. And so it's just kind of been on its own. And part of that is adapting to be able to make adjustments to itself.
Love it. So the room is dominated by this brain tissue thing that is connecting everything. How do you try to communicate with it, or do you want to burn it down?
I mean, I want to talk to it. I think there's, you know, it's not impossible that it could just understand us. It's old. It probably knows a lot of stuff. And I think the first step is the obvious. Just try the obvious, boring stuff first and see what happens. So I think I just sit down. I like sit down and like gently put a hand against some of this fibrous tissue, and I'm just like, what do I say? I think I'm just like, can you understand what I'm saying? Can you communicate?
I think this is a great moment to end.